order online. All right, let's bring in Clay Helton now, 6-3, riding a 5-game win streak. And you know what I see, Coach, are the two most balanced teams right now in the Pac-12. And I'm sure you'll say that about UW. Maybe you'll be humble and don't necessarily want to put yourself there. But are you happy with how you're executing seemingly right now in all phases of the game?
Yeah, definitely. When you talk about the two offenses that are going against each other right now, they are balanced. They're two teams that can run the football. They run the ball to set up the pass. And I look at us over the last 5 games, and you're looking at a bunch that right now our offense is rushing over 200 yards, passing around 300, really playing. I think we had 40 runs to 41 passes the other night. So you're looking at an extreme balance on offense, and Washington is very similar. We're two very similar teams when it comes offensively.
You know, Coach, I think you feel the same way. I mean, coming into the year, you knew you had a lot of talented players, whether it be the receiver, the running backs, defensive backs, etc. But the offensive line and defensive line, those two units are really coming together. They're playing well as a unit together with continuity, and they're also being so effective on the field. What are you seeing from those two position groups?
Yeah, we say it's a big man's game, and it is. To play that game versus Oregon, which we thought was one of the better run teams in the nation, definitely in our conference, and for our defensive line to establish the penetration that they got in the backfield, 7 tackles for loss, and really set the edges. When you watch tape on Oregon, it was about them getting the ball outside and breaking contain. And I really thought Chenna and Porter did a tremendous job of filtering the ball back inside to the defensive tackles. And then you look on the other side, I think our offensive line is one of the huge keys to the turnaround this season, the way we've been able to run the ball and really protect the quarterback. Another game with no sacks, and it's a credit to a lot of what they're doing.
I want to stay on the defensive side. I know people are saying, okay, maybe you're doing a good job taking advantage of some weaker defenses offensively, but Oregon comes in as a top offense. Coach, that was their lowest yardage total in a game since 2009. I mean, that was a real comprehensive defensive effort from game plan to execution. Was that as complete as you guys have played defensively this year?
Yeah, no question. I mean, when you look up and all of a sudden Oregon's only got 67 plays total. You've done your job. You got off on 3rd down. You hold a very potent run offense to 85 yards, only 2.8 a carry. Those are great stats for defense. And really, I thought we played on their side of the line of scrimmage, whether it was in the run game or getting to the quarterback, sacks, getting them off his spot. Really a complete game by our guys.
I talked a little bit earlier about the fast starts that you're getting. This game you got 2 touchdowns and a field goal to get a 17-point lead before a lot of people even sat down in their seats. Is there anything you can point to that's been sort of key to getting that fast start? Because it looks like, obviously they're ready to play, but that's an impressive number, and it's not just this week. It's been over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I told our guys I'm really impressed and proud of them for the focus and preparation they put into each and every game. We got blinders on, seriously. We focus on one game and one game only. We haven't looked ahead, and I think our preparation has allowed us to start fast. We preach it, start fast, and then finish the game. And the kids are doing a tremendous job. And I really thought, the first 3 and out sparked us. You have a nice special play on our punt return by Mike Pittman that got us really going and got us emotional, got our juices flowing. And then you look up 3 drives, 17 points, and got a nice spread there against a good offensive team in Oregon.
As a head coach, I haven't spent a lot of time in your pregame locker room. What's it like in there emotionally? Are you a big get them going rah-rah guy? Do you want them quiet? Is there a lot of music going on? Set the scene for us inside your pregame locker room.
Well, pregame prior to stretch, everybody's kind of on their own. They all got their headsets. There's a little music going. And then when we come back in for pregame, that's when I allow them to have their speakers going, and it does get some music, and they start bouncing.
Is it your playlist or theirs?
No, it's definitely their playlist, and then I come in, and it is a rah-rah. I want their juices flowing. It's as they chant as they go out. It's wartime, and we take a lot of pride on how we play at the Coliseum, and the kids have done an amazing job since we took over. It's home is nice, and the fans were absolutely awesome the other day. We felt them on 3rd down. It was an electric atmosphere, and credit to them. They helped us.
Sam continues to spread the ball around to a lot of different receivers. The first 8 receptions, 7 different players caught the ball. He ended up giving 9 guys end up catching balls in that game. by design, or is it just Sam? I mean, give me a little bit of reason.
I tell you, his game is extremely mature. I'll give you a great example. You probably saw the play where we put a Dory in the game, shifted him out to try to create a one-on-one matchup with their corner, and if it's man, he's to take the shot to Dory. It goes cover 3. The corner bails a million miles deep. Obviously, it's a Dory out there, and that leaves a nice high-low on the will linebacker with a Deontay on the shallow route with our tight end Taylor McNamara on the over drag, and he hits Taylor for an explosive play. And that's something you really don't see from a lot of young quarterbacks. Usually you get missile lock on that one receiver, especially a Dory. He comes off of it, goes through his progression, gets to his third progression on that play, and that's something that that's why you're seeing 9 different guys get the ball. He's not gluing in. He's just taking what the defense is giving him.
You've hit the chess match part of the season. Teams have a lot of tape on you. Yeah. You have a lot of tape on other teams. So then in-game adjustments become a huge thing. And we talked about this a little bit after the game, but I sort of want to go into that conversation on what it's like. You're all in the same headset. Yeah. What that conversation is like, because it looked like you made a little one in the second quarter to all of a sudden start working the middle of the field in the passing game, and Deontay came to life. Your tight ends were open. And then it looked like also at halftime you made one in terms of the running game where you switch from your outside run to your inside run.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the one adjustment, we had really been running the outside zone extremely well, especially with Rojo over the past couple of weeks. And they came in with a nice plan to be able to stop that, widen their nose tackle out a little bit to make it a little bit harder on combinations. But usually when you get that 4-down line and you widen those defensive tackles out, now the inside run is going to hit. And so we made that adjustment. We also saw more cloud coverage than we were expecting. Usually people are coming in to try to stop our run game, and they played a little bit more too high cloud, and that opens up the middle of the field. And great decisions by T to be able to attack the middle of the field. You usually do it with your tight ends and your slot receiver. Yep. And you look up, and Deontay's got 7 catches on the day. The tight end's got 7 catches on the day. So some really good communication in game. Not only making the adjustments but then communicating it to the kids in between series about, hey, this is where we're going to go to, so everybody's on the same page.
Well, it'll be a fun chess match this weekend, too. We'll get into that. The showdown up in Seattle, USC against Washington. We'll get the coach's take next. You're listening to Trojans Live. But a tough challenge. We were talking about balance. It's not just offensive balance, right? It's overall team balance. Washington's number 3 in total offense, number 2 in total defense. So, how tough is this challenge trying to identify the weakness in this Huskies team?
Not very many. I mean, one, they start off, they're extremely well coached. I mean, Coach Peterson does a tremendous job. One of the more well-respected coaches in our profession. And he always brings a team to the park that doesn't blow assignments. They're a very clean playing team. Offensively, it starts with their quarterback. He's unbelievable. There's a reason he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Great decision-making, timing, accuracy. They put a run game with it, so they stay balanced. They're putting up 66, 70 points against people. Yeah. And then defensively, I think it starts with their back end. I look at Buda Baker and then the 2 corners, both NFL players in the future. They're giving up about 180 yards passing a game, which is one of the top in not only in our conference but in the nation. And they allow that defensive line that is one of the bigger lines that we've faced. We've got 3 300-pounders down there, 300-pound-plus kids that can get to the quarterback in a quick twitch. So tremendous challenge for us in a great atmosphere in November with a lot at stake. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll be in the press box, Coach. Don't worry about me.
I'll be on the field.
You mentioned Jake Browning, the quarterback for Washington, and sort of what he's meant to Washington, similar to what Sam Darnold's meant to USC, right? Yeah. Quite honestly. I saw him in high school at Folsom. He was doing the same thing to everybody else in those days too. What do you have to do to you're not going to stop him, but what do you have to do to sort of keep him under control so he doesn't have a huge day?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first thing, like I've told you, in this league, I think you have to get pressure on the quarterback. You have to affect the timing. You have to get him off his spot. A lot of the offenses in this league are based on timing routes, whether it's RPO, whether it's quick game. Usually they max protect to be able to throw the ball deep off play action. So, we've got to be able to get to them. Whether it's our 4-man rush, 5-man rush, 6-man rush like Clancy used last week, we've got to be able to do. Utah did a nice job, I thought, of doing that, and you saw how it affected them a little bit. So hopefully our pass rush, it'll be one of those great pass rush days that affect them a little bit.
Yeah, Utah made them work a little bit. And then they went to Myles Gaskin. That's what I noticed in that game. It seemed like when they were in trouble, and that's when you finally learn, what a team trusts and believes in. And it seems like they went to him. Not a huge back, but boy, he really has come on during Pac-12 play.
Yeah. We always talk about it that I don't care how good the quarterback is. He's always every good quarterback's going to have at least one off day during the season.
Yeah.
Right.
And you better have a running game that can back him up when he is a little bit off. And definitely in that game, I thought that their run game won the game for them. The run game and a big special teams play at the end of that game solidifies a huge win. So that's the tough thing about playing a balanced offense. We've played some teams that were either great pass teams or great run teams. Now we're facing one that's really elite at both.
Yeah. When you look at Washington, or I watched them play, their secondary is really good.
Yes.
And I know that there's going to pose some problems. I'm sure the receiving corps is going to take it as a challenge. I mean, Juju and those guys have been playing well as well. Is this what this game's going to come down to? Sort of these position groups matchups, like the receivers against the secondary. I mean, and how much do you talk about that with the team, and how much do these guys? I mean, that was a thing for me. I couldn't wait until you told me the guy across me was supposed to be really good.
I mean, definitely. I mean, you look at John Ross, who's one of the best receivers in the country, going up against whether it's Biggie Marshall or Dory Jackson. I mean, that's a box of popcorn and a Coke right there just watching that matchup. So, it's going to be a personnel matchup in this game, and they've got some talented players. We do too. Both teams are playing good ball in November, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
The two coaches' stats are ones I'm sure you will be preaching this week. They're plus 15 in turnover margin. That's tops in the Pac-12. They have the most disciplined team in terms of penalty yards. If there's little areas that you've nitpicked and we've nitpicked over this winning streak, it's those two areas. How important, especially on the road, is it for you to play a clean game if you're going to win this thing?
I don't think we could win it if all of a sudden you look up and there's turnovers and there's penalties. And I told our team today, this is a different football team that you're playing, because look at the teams we played in the last 5 games. All of them are tempo teams. Yeah. So you're going to get your opportunities on offense to score points. When you play this type of game, like with a team that averages about 65 to 67 plays a game, your opportunities are going to go away. You've got to make the most of each one. If you set yourself back with penalties or you do a turnover, you're going to look up and not have enough opportunities. I saw an unbelievable game, Notre Dame Navy.
Yep.
That happened. Yeah. I mean, 6 total opportunities for Notre Dame in a ball control game, and they scored 5 of them and lost the game. So you got to make the most of each and every one, and we'll have to play a clean game in that atmosphere to get it done.
Just a quick update. Justin Davis, he's been on the shelf the last couple of weeks. Any chance of having him available?
Yeah, he's been cleared to do some practice this week. He was out there today. We had a very light practice, but was cutting, no pain. We'll get a little bit faster tomorrow. I'm anticipating him being able to go this week. Right. In what true fashion, is it? I don't think it's 25, 30 carries, right. But he may be between the difference between having him and Rojo together. I think we can get through this game with 2 really good backs.
All hands on deck, certainly. Thank you, Coach. 4:30 kick on Saturday. The game is on Fox, ESPN LA, right here, USC Football Radio Network. Our pregame will start at 2:30 up in Seattle. Boy, can't wait. The season is built to this moment.